So, it's funny that I talked about the possibility of getting a new Energon universe cartoon because as of like 2 minutes ago, as I saw this article, we have news regarding the next chapter of the Energon universe. Now, as you guys already are aware, Daniel Warren Johnson has left the book after issue 24. And it kind of left us all wondering what's going to happen next. Daniel Warren Johnson had been doing Skybound's Transformers for like a hot minute. He had been really solid on it. I've been reading it in trade, so I won't be able to see how it ends with Volume 4, until like I think November it comes out. So don't spoil it for me. I do know that it has the series has been wild, and I really dug like how he's used Megatron, like using him in a sort of like his very essence corrupts. Anyway, almost like a fucking Sauron kind of thing. But we didn't know what was going to happen, and I knew Daniel Warren Johnson wasn't going to be on this book forever because his art is very unique and it's also very painstaking. And I don't know if this is true or not, but there were also some things going on in his personal life that was keeping him from finishing the book as well. If that's the case, more power to him. But yeah. So it was going to be interesting. Were they just going to they weren't going to end the book. I knew that. They were not going to just end Transformers after all of that. They were just going to look for a new creative team. Well, we now know the official creative team, and it is Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora. So yeah, that's our official new creative team for this for Transformers Energon universe. And yeah, now it's just Williamson and Kirkman carrying the Energon universe, give or take, depending on if we get any writers for like miniseries and whatnot. But it does look like Kirkman and Williamson are basically just going to be like putting on their big boy pants and just carrying this series. Just carrying this whole thing. How do I feel? How do I feel about it? Well, Dan Mora. First off, Dan Mora is just everywhere. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. Mora is a phenomenal artist. He is an absolute beast when it comes to artwork, whether it be World's Finest or Once and Future, the original book he worked on with Karen Gillan, Justice League Unlimited, and I think he's coming back for Power Rangers TMNT 3. Dude is a workhorse. And to give constant work quality like that is really solid. And to have him draw Transformers is kind of awesome. Like, we saw preview pages of how Dan Mora draws the Autobots. Like, we saw RC, Optimus, and Ultra Magnus, and Beachcomber, and they look really good. But what do you what can you expect more from Dan Mora, right? Now, the other thing though is Kirkman. Kirkman has been really solid. I've really enjoyed Void Rivals. It's been the herald of this new era of the Energon universe, and Kirkman has been having a lot of overview on this. Obviously, this is Skybound. This is his baby. But Kirkman has a very interesting kind of writing style where, things take a while to get to the plot. He's very meticulous with his writing. And while I enjoy Void Rivals, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of some of Kirkman's other stuff. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't like Invincible or Walking Dead. I said what I said. Robert Kirkman, outside of Void Rivals, a lot of Robert Kirkman's original work does not it has not grabbed me. And it's not for lack of trying. It's just that I read 4 volumes of Walking Dead because I was at the time really enjoying Walking Dead, the TV show, and I was like, you know what, I want to read the comics. So I read them, and it was like, I'm not feeling it. Then long before Invincible came out as an animated series, I was like, I hear a lot about Invincible, and I just don't like it. I think also one of the reasons why I personally, and this is just maybe it's a me thing, is reading through all of Invincible, the comic, it really makes me go, wow, he is really awful to Adam. I don't know why Robert Kirkman puts a lot of horrible shit on Adam Eve, but man, does he just put that poor girl through the ringer in the comics. In the movie, in the TV animated show, she's treated pretty shitty, but at least she has some stuff going on for her in the animated show. In the comic, Oh my god. Like, her own dad calls her damaged goods. Fucking Mark had an affair and she's just left to take it. She also goes over. She's also made to be overweight and Mark doesn't find her appealing. And then it's treated as Eve's fault. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what are you projecting here, Robert? Like, what are you projecting onto this poor woman? So yeah, so I'm a little leery about his Transformers. But again, Void Rivals and how he's been writing the Autobots and Decepticons there have kind of given me like at least a sneak preview of like, all right, he does understand these characters and he does understand the Transformers universe. So there is, that going for it. I'm just kind of like, again, I was hesitant about Void Rivals itself because I was like, well, Kirkman's heading the book. I'm not the biggest Robert Kirkman guy, and I know that's kind of comic book heresy. I do not take away from him as a writer and what he's done for independent comics at all. Please don't get that twisted. I'm just saying that, like, his type of writing is not for me. So, Void Rivals I've really enjoyed, but everything else so it's kind of curious to see how his I am going to read his Transformers when it comes out in trade. I am going to read that after the first story arc finishes and we get that in trade, and I'm still going to collect the Energon universe as a whole because I've really enjoyed the Energon universe, and Kirkman and Williamson have both, and also to their credit, Kelly Thompson and other writers who have been doing the G.I. Joe minis have also really shown that, like, hey, we really love this universe and we're really building to something good. And Kirkman has also shown in Void Rivals and how he's been kind of like shepherding the Energon universe shows that, like, hey, this isn't like Invincible, this isn't like Walking Dead, this is a, team effort that we're all kind of overseeing. So I do, that's what I really appreciate. And again, I cannot go wrong with Dan Mora's artwork. I was like, Robert Kirkman, nah. Dan Mora? Okay. I also want to cycle back that I really do hope Daniel Warren Johnson comes back to the Energon universe. I would absolutely love him to come back and do, like, not as an ongoing, because I know, like, again, I imagine, like, doing this for 24 issues, doing an ongoing alone was probably a lot of work, so, and probably that also probably didn't take a good toll on his mental health. And speaking of someone who's kind of also mentally being put through the ringer, I get it. So, yeah. I do hope he comes back to the Energon universe, maybe for like a Transformers miniseries, for like a Decepticon miniseries. That'd be really cool. He has a great voice for the Decepticons. Maybe like maybe a Megatron origin story. That'd be kind of cool, like how IDW did their version. I would even love to see, like, maybe he could do G.I. Joe, or maybe if they actually do the Inhumanoids, he just needs to do an Inhumanoids miniseries to introduce them. Like, yeah, Earth Core, everything. Give Daniel Warren Johnson the Inhumanoids. I'm also hoping Warren Johnson does a Godzilla series for IDW at some point, too. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora taking over for the Transformers ongoing at Energon Universe? Are you guys excited? Are you guys not? Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.